Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is all in the charts. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button. Drop me a comment. You got to click the bell icon for all notifications to know when I go live each and every single weekday. Looks like I was grabbing the microphone to like sing into it, which I'm not going to. I will spare everyone. No one wants to hear me sing. Busy days in the life of CBG. So was not live streaming yesterday. I had shared that on Friday. Feels nice to be back on a Tuesday to share an update regarding what's going on in the markets. I know there was a lot of excitement yesterday, all of 5 minutes apparently. So funny story. I had a lot of things going on yesterday, which is why I couldn't live stream. And I was actually driving at that moment. And I was like, I haven't checked crypto prices like all morning since like, 5 o'clock in the morning. So I just went on my phone and I just really quickly, I do not, by the way, encourage texting and driving. I was in a very safe spot that I could do this. There was no one around me. And I just, I popped open the phone and just took a quick look. And I saw Bitcoin was up over 10%. And that's when I tweeted out funk. And didn't know what was going on. Didn't know that apparently there was a bogus news report released from Cointelegraph regarding a spot ETF being approved. So I didn't know what was going on. I just happened to check prices at the right time. And then I checked prices like an hour later or something, and I saw Bitcoin was all the way down to up 3%. And I was like, okay, I don't know what's going on right now. So I had to catch up on affairs, but we're going to take a look at the charts because no matter what the news was, no matter what had occurred in the prior day, unless if you're this individual, I usually don't like to speak to specific other educators / whether you want to call them an educator or influencer, I'll call them an educator. If you want to be this guy here, this guy whose channel I used to watch and actually used to share with people to get caught up on crypto news, I thought he was very logical. Of course, comes out and tweets something very negative, to which I replied, folks, if you want to stab your eyes out with a blunt object, come to my YouTube channel and view my thumbnails. You will instantly be depressed for life. And that is not an understatement. Go to Data Dash's home channel. I have not watched any of his videos in forever. But if you look at his thumbnails, this guy, you literally may want to commit suicide after looking at his thumbnails. It's pretty rough. I don't know what happened to that guy, but it's almost as if he is outwardly exhibiting everything he's feeling internally. I don't know. Something must have transpired in his life to make him so pessimistic. There's just something that transpired in his life because he was never this way before. Anyway, let's get back to the charts here and have a conversation about what's going on in the prices, because unlike that individual who wants to make you jump off a bridge, I actually think the price action that has come in since yesterday is extremely good for the charts that we've spoken to. One of the things that I've really hit on in this live channel, this live stream for the past, I don't know how many weeks now, is that there is this sort of key price zone in the $28,000 area. Numerous charts are sort of can't think of the right word, brain fart. They're all leading to this price direction, right? There's all this price confluence on multiple different charts that speak to this $28,000 area, right? We spoke to 28.5, 28.2, 28.3, 28.1. And where price is at now is a really good thing. But real quick, before we get into price, I wanted to speak to something more broader based in the markets. I had just tweeted this out. I want everybody here, everyone here, okay, to watch this video. It is a 4-minute video. It is from Alessio Rastani, who I respect his views. I respect his charting. I respect his views. He just spoke to something in this video that we on this channel have been preaching since the start of time, since I've been putting out content on this channel. One of the things that I've been speaking to is that the market is not going to do what the popular narrative is. And I'm not going to steal the thunder from this video. Again, it's 4 minutes and I want you to watch it. But what he speaks to is a contrarian signal based on a herd mentality that is signaling potentially the local top within major stock indices was put in a few months ago, and the local bottom within these major indices has perhaps been printed. So check out that video. This is what we've been speaking to on this channel for a very long time. You don't want to follow that path that everyone else is doing. If you're getting scared out of the market because we had a 7% pullback in major indices after they ran up 33%, you're not going to make it. Like, you're going to make horrible investment decisions if you're emotionally investing. You really have to dig deep and ask yourself, what are those empirical data points that I need to research and understand to make really well-informed decisions? And there's no guarantee, right? I had commented back, perhaps it was you, DJ. I see you in the comments, by the way. Thank you. It was you. No, it wasn't you. Was it you? Somebody, is it you? I think it's you. Yes, it's you, DJ. You said 100% not going to happen that fast, and we'll speak to this chart. DJ, you know me. Again, I'm a numbers person, right? I'm an actuary. There is nothing certain in this life besides being born and then dying at some point. Living and dying are the only certainties in life. People like to joke and say taxes, but you could actually do tax evasion, so that's not even 100%. The point of what I'm saying is, even if you disagree with me, which we all have to be open to healthy disagreements that are founded upon education and research and logic, I am 100%. I'm 99%. I'm 100% cool with you disagreeing with me. I mean, it provides conjecture and debate and all these things, but don't say 100%, because you could say I feel 97% certain because of XYZ. I feel mostly certain. This is highly unlikely, but nothing is 100%, guys. So taking the contrarian view doesn't guarantee you anything, right? Could the stock market have some sort of a major collapse within the next 2 months, 3 months? Sure, it could. I just don't see it. I mean, coming out here every week and telling you the same thing. Just because the timing of things have not aligned with the exact timing of everything, it doesn't mean that big picture or macro picture, anything has changed. I keep coming out here and trying to share these things with you, at least on my channel. I'm just going to come out here and be very consistent about what I'm communicating to you, unless if the facts change. Let me see who we have in the live stream today. Yeah, DJ, I feel you there, man. These next couple months for me are going to be pretty busy months. I never like to wish time away. We have to be thankful for every single day that we're breathing. But part of me just wants to get to the end of the year, to be quite honest. Kathleen, welcome in. Good to see you. Oof. Let's fucking go. Frankie, good to see you in the live stream. You make me want to get back in the gym. That's awesome. I like anytime I can inspire someone and be positive. It makes me feel good to know that. So it's good to hear. What's up, Rashid? Yeah, it was you, DJ. You stand by your words 100%. All right. Well, that's going to come back to bite you one of these times. You could be right this time, but it's going to come back to bite you one of these times. 1,000%, sure. Yeah, Jorge, good to see you here on the guest. I actually reached out to like 2 or 3 people. 2 people, maybe 3. Maybe I thought of a third and didn't reach out. No, I reached out to 3 people. I actually reached out to 3 people. 1 person replied. They were unavailable for the month of, was it September? I didn't have a guest on September. That's right. For the month of September, but he said he wanted to come on. The other 2 people never replied to me. So, I mean, I don't know what to say about that. They did read my messages, though, my DMs on Twitter. So I know they read my DMs. They just never replied. I did want to get Koosh and Tony back on here, I said originally towards the end of the year. Given how the timing of everything has worked out with price action, I'll probably look to get one of them on at the end of this year, and then try to get one of them on more towards the start of next year. But I do want to get different guests on here. Absolutely. I wanted to keep that going. One guest a month. That didn't come fruition in September, so maybe I can try and squeeze in 2 guests. That's unrealistic. At least try to get 1 guest in for October. So I appreciate you bringing that up. Kyle, welcome in. Juan, welcome in. Gonna have to pass on that, Jorge. All right, guys. We're all here for the charts, right? You're not all here to hear the wonderful sound of my voice. Although my voice, it does. I mean, I got a good sounding voice, right? As someone told me I have a radio sounding voice. Price indicators are what price indicators are. Let's get into the charts, and I'll get back to your comments. I see more comments coming in. So this is a 12-hour. We know the significance of this 12-hour. Now, what's good to see on this 12-hour is kind of a couple things, okay? A couple things that I would hone in on this chart. First off, you can see, despite Data Dash's suicidal comments, I'll stop with Data Dash. I don't know what happened to the guy. It's very disappointing. Despite other people's comments, this push up in volume, despite this huge wick, this is actually very bullish for us. And the reason that this is very bullish for us is because all of this volume and price action led to us getting above the 200 simple moving average, which is the pink line here. It has since sustained itself. So that's bullish item number 1. We've sustained price action above the 200 SMA. That has not happened since back here in, Jesus, oh my God. I didn't realize it was that long. June? Okay, June was the last time we got above here and stayed above here for an extended period of time. Now, the other thing that's going on is the 50 is beginning to curl up. The 200, which was beginning to curl down, is beginning to flatten out. These are the things you know to look for. As an experienced technician, these are all the little things that people who are newer to the markets are going to miss. This 200 is beginning to flatten out. It's going to want to eventually begin to curl up as long as price action can sustain itself up here. 50's curling up hard. This 50 looks like we could potentially get a golden cross coming in here within the next week. Now, why is this so bullish? Well, I mean, I've put out charts that speak to the chart, the chart no one is discussing on Bitcoin, so you can look for those videos on my channel. The other reason, though, the other really key reason that this is significant, on this channel, one of the common things I preach about is on the lower time frames, when you get bullish momentum that starts to pick up and sustains itself, we get those higher highs, higher lows, the moving averages are turning around. What happens is it now bleeds into the daily, and then it eventually bleeds into the weekly. We'll get to this chart in a moment, all right? So once this lower time frame price action begins to really pan out and turn around in a bullish meaningful fashion, it's going to bleed over into the higher time frame charts. Look at the daily. What else is going on in the daily? I forgot to point this out. Remember $28,000. This 200 simple moving average, it actually began to curl down, but we were up here in this $28,000 range. Look at the 200 simple moving average on the daily. It's right at $28,000. We have gotten a rise above here, and we've sustained ourselves above here. So even though we got this death cross here, so long as price action continues to sustain itself at or above $28,000, we're going to get our golden cross on the 200, which should lead to more significant rises in price, historically speaking, okay? Now, what else is going on the weekly that is important to point out? Get out of that chart. Let's look first here at the Gaussian channel. Now, on the Gaussian channel, the key level is at the top of the Gaussian. We are sitting right now, it's actually at 28,600. Remember, the top of the Gaussian channel is going to change based on price action. I have the red line drawn at 28.5 because that was the top of the Gaussian channel. Now it has moved up in price to 28. We're just going to call it 650. It's at 660, but 650 is close enough. So you can see we're still not out of the Gaussian channel, but we're increasing the likelihood that we're going to push above it by being up at these higher price levels and on the lower time frame action, sustaining above key moving averages. This is increasing the likelihood that we could see a bump up in price as early as this week above here. It would be huge. Can't understate it. It would be huge this week if we can get a close above this Gaussian channel at 28,650. But that's not it, folks. If we go to the weekly chart and we look at the 200 simple moving average, look what's going on here. Remember, last week all I said to you, I really wanted to live stream on Sunday. It just wasn't possible. Track, welcome in. Good to see you. I saw the green icon at first and thought it was DT, but you got the T. DT is DT, so I'm sure DT's listening. But welcome in, Track. Good to see you. Remember, on this weekly close, I just said, hey, sustain yourself above 26,500, right? We got that. Now we're starting to push up above this pink line, which is the 200 simple moving average, 28,300. So at the very minimum, at the very least, okay, at the very least, we want to see this week close at or above 28,300. Keep that one number in your head, 28,300. That's what we want to see for a weekly close. Now, the Eagles have I think they have a Sunday night game, don't they? I was about to say maybe I would live stream on Sunday, but that's not going to work because the Eagles are playing. I'm going to retract that statement. Maybe I will live stream before the Eagles game. Keep an eye out, and that's why you got to click that bell icon for all notifications. Maybe I'll do a weekly close on Sunday. I do like doing those weekly closes on Sunday, so if it wasn't for the birds, I would come out here, but we'll see. Maybe I'll come out before the game. In any event, 28,300 is the key level. Bonus if we can get above here, 28,650, like 28,700. Right now, what else is turning around in the chart? This Williams alligator. All of this messiness in here is starting to clear up that we were concerned about back in September. This is very good because all of this could have been a fake out. Remember, expectations. What are my expectations? Well, my expectations, and if you follow me on Twitter, you would know this. These are my rough expectations. Now, DJ happens to think that this is 100% not possible. I'm okay with you saying it is 95% not possible, but 100% doesn't logically make sense to me, my friend. Black Oil in the house. Welcome in, my friend. I'm going to get back to your comment in a moment, DJ. You got to be careful what you're saying there about Pi Cycle. We kind of hit on that notion before, but I'll get back to that. These are my rough expectations if we are to have a blow-off top in the relative fashion that I think we're going to, right? Ultimately, I think it's reasonable. I still think it's very reasonable to assume that we will have a blow-off. Not assume. That's not the right word. It's reasonable to believe that it is possible for a blow-off top in Bitcoin to occur sometime around the halving or a little later. That's what this yellow box is signifying. I mean, I'm essentially saying, blow off top in the yellow box. I have it in the earlier portion here. Anytime between the halving, which actually it looks like I might have the yellow box off a little bit. I think the halving is like early May. But basically May to the first week of August, right? July. So it covers July essentially. These are still my rough expectations. Am I saying Bitcoin again? I don't want people to misinterpret this chart. Rough expectations. I'm not saying Bitcoin is going to 125,368. If you're walking away from this and saying on the week of June 3rd, CBG is saying Bitcoin's hitting 125,368, you've completely lost the point. Bitcoin, and I've spoken to this, there's so much talk about 100,000. Bitcoin could fall short of 100,000 and maybe top at 90 or 95,000, right? It could exceed my expectations and hit 180,000. But I've communicated to you before, roughly right around $130,000 is basically where I'm landing. So I think this is a reasonable expectation in terms of a blow-off top. And this is the relative trajectory, right? You can see my expectations going into the end of this year is the orange box. I want to land in the orange box between 35.5 and 48. I just want to come in here. I want to stair step up. I just want these stair steps, okay? I just want the stair steps. And now here, we can start to gradually, as we reach our all-time high consolidation, go into that parabola, right? We can enter the parabola here, but I really don't want that parabola picking up until we're closer to prior all-time highs. I don't want to start entering a parabola too early because that's going to lead to a lower blow-off top level, okay? But these are my rough expectations. You know, it puts Bitcoin between 35.5 and 48 before the end of the year. It looks like, roughly, I have the expectation going into March that we're going to be all the way up in the $50,000 area, potentially breaking all-time highs as early as around April as next year. And that's when we really start to enter that parabolic path. Also, it's important to note, based on history, that whenever Bitcoin does, even if this is completely incorrect and it tops earlier or later, once Bitcoin does get above $69,000, that's when your altcoins are going to really take off. I mean, you're going to see altcoins go ballistic. And the other thing I should hit on, by the way, the other thing that I should hit on here, this is a monthly on the S&P. You're not going to really anticipate, or I shouldn't put it that way. What I should say, this is a better way to word this. You should anticipate that when the stock market is starting to meet and exceed its prior all-time highs, and I've spoken to this, we're really going to start to see things pick up because it's going to be that risk-on environment. More people are going to be like, oh my God, what's the next best thing? Crypto is a very risk-on asset. People are going to be more willing to throw their money at the market, whether it's crypto or the stock market, if there's more euphoria. There's more, oh my God, I missed out. Oh my God, my money manager told me not to buy here. My money manager was excited here. My money manager was so fearful here. Okay? Dumb money. All right? D-diddly-dumb, D-diddly-dumb, and D-diddly-dumb. All right? For those of you who are familiar with The Simpsons. Flanders. He was a great character that evolved over time. Yeah, I mean, again, I could always turn out to be blatantly wrong. And this is a very big macro view that I have. So it's one thing, I will say this. I would be very disappointed if I was incorrect with this, because it's one thing to be wrong on a call like Sushi Swap. I've called out Sushi Swap so many times. It's one thing to say, yeah, Sushi Swap did not go according to how I thought it would. Okay? That's a small DEX play within the crypto market. All right? It's another thing to be wrong about a macro view of major stock indices. So I will be very disappointed in myself if I'm not correct in my relative expectations for the stock market based on my unbiased, logical view, educated view of the market. Again, new all-time highs in these major indices by the fourth quarter, I said, or early first quarter of next year. Those are my expectations. I do not see us rolling over. I do not see us having some sort of a monumental crash. Again, watch that 4-minute video that I tweeted out today. Watch this Alessio Rustani video. He should give me a little bit of cut. He should give me a little bit of cut on the monetization there. CBG is promoting. There would be a good guest to have on. I would love to have Alessio Rustani, but my channel is way too small. So you can see starting out the week here, one of the good things to see, we're getting above this 21 EMA, which is what we want to do. Now, just kind of focusing on the month on the S&P here, it'll be very interesting for the month to see where we close. It'll be very, very interesting. Again, not getting super excited until we take out this last local high here, all the way up here at 4,600. That's where I thought it was, 4,600 roughly. Okay, so we want to start pushing above there. Other things going on that I wanted to talk about that were sort of at the top of my mind. This was at the top of my mind. This is the ETH BTC relativity chart. I'm starting to see more and more people cover it. Guys, what has changed in this chart relative to expectations I've shared with you? Absolutely nothing. This is a monthly view. You can see we're in this green buy zone. Now, what have I spoken about? We're in a major wedge sort of pattern here. We're just consolidating, right? Do I think we're going to roll over and come all the way down here? No. Is it possible? Yes. If anything, I think what will happen that I've shared with you guys, haven't covered the chart in a bit, so let me cover rough expectations. On a candle body closing basis, we're going to maintain relative price levels in this ascending line, if I'm correct, okay? Now, do I think that it's possible in a given month, whether it's October, November, December, especially with the move I'm anticipating in Bitcoin, is it possible you could see this relativity value break here? Yes, it's called volatility. It's a price wick. But we want that candle body close to close up here. If we get a close down here, if we get a close in this area, yeah, now we're increasing the likelihood we're going to roll over. I just don't see it coming. Remember, I believe Ethereum's going to temporarily flip Bitcoin. and again, I'll reiterate this. Next year, flip Bitcoin. It might be part of a day. It could be an entire day. It's going to be a brief period of time, but it's going to flip it in my opinion. There's absolutely no excitement in Ethereum right now. It's not doing anything. Been here before, seen the same story, okay? Was here when Ethereum was just so unexciting back at $180, and then it ran all the way up to 1,000, 2,500 very quickly, okay? Ethereum, once it starts to pick up momentum, much like Bitcoin, it is going to move and move fast. Let's take a quick look at Ethereum. It doesn't matter to me if you're a supporter of the Ethereum project or what your fundamental view of Ethereum is. I'm not here to discuss that. What I'm here is to discuss facts in the charts. And the facts in the charts are Ethereum is the #1 altcoin, and I don't see that changing anytime soon, okay? So until it is dethroned, okay, it is the #1 altcoin you want to be familiar with in terms of assessing the overall health of the altcoin market. What is going on here? We have an ascending triangle. Nothing has changed. This is a 2-week chart. By the way, for anyone saying this view is invalidated because of this candlestick, you don't understand technical analysis, with all due respect. This is a candlestick that is currently less than halfway printed. We have this week and next week. As long as by next week we close roughly at 1,591, we're at 1,560. As long as we close in a week and a half from now at 1,590, this chart is still valid, okay? If we start closing at current levels, well, now we got to question whether or not the chart's valid or not. You know, can I change this ascending line a little bit to make it valid, or is it just become invalidated, right? Yeah, so that's what I'm seeing in Ethereum. I don't really see anything that's really changed here. Let's go to the weekly. We're probably under the 200 at this point. Yeah, we're still under the 200 simple moving average. We're just, if I had to describe price action at this point, it's sort of, Ethereum has just clustered around the 50 and 200. It's just clustered in here. What else? Casp is having a nice day. Let's go to the Caspa chart real quick. For anybody here from the Caspa community, a lot of positive developments going on in the Caspa chart. Ignore these green lines. I just put in, just kind of messing around with the chart. Again, point of similarity I drew here to here. It's certainly following it. I will say we're roughly following, if this current candlestick prints similar to this one, we're going to get back above this 10 simple moving average on the 2-day. It'll be interesting to see if that pans out. This candlestick's going to print today. So as long as we can maintain prices above 4.7 cents, we'll be good. Having a really good reaction today. You can see the 4 hours picking up. We're above the 200. We need this 50 to curl up and get us a nice golden cross. On the weekly, you can see here that technically we closed slightly below this 10 simple moving average that I've covered in the past that is historically significant. But at the moment, we've maintained a close above there. We have all week, though, so we need to remain patient to see if this does pan out. But this chart, guys, I don't know what else to tell you. This is, if I had to identify one chart on Caspa that makes me the most bullish, it would be this chart. This chart in layman's terms, it's the Caspa BTC relativity chart. This chart in layman's terms, what it's telling us is Caspa's price historically has just continued to outperform Bitcoin. That's all it's done. Now, at some point in the future, this chart's going to break down, right? This isn't just going to continue up forever. It's not going to outperform Bitcoin endlessly to the end of time. At some point, this is going to break down, and we'll look at fib retracement levels and all those fun things. But for now, until they say the trend is your friend, again, I've showed this endlessly on my videos. These are just nice, beautiful rounding bottoms. We form support. That's our base. We come up. We have support. We came slightly down. We're just going to continue going up, in my opinion, until proven otherwise. So Caspa is looking very, very, very sexy. Solana is having some, let's take a quick look at Solana. I was checking out that chart. Actually considered establishing a position. I have not yet, but I've seriously considered it, because if you look at the weekly here, not only did we break this downward resistance. Look at these beautiful higher highs and higher lows coming in here. This chart remains untouched since we last looked at it. In fact, I think this was in the Solano video. You remember the Solano video? For all you Cardano fans. It was in the Solana video. And as you can see here, if you look at the price indicators, look at this MACD picking up the histogram. MACD's curling up. This RSI looks like it's at a very favorable level above 50. Stochastic RSI looks really healthy. This chart looks really good. Wouldn't be shocked to see this thing up in the 40s or 50s before the end of the year. So, all right, what do we got in the comments? So, wanted a quick comment on this, DJ. Not going to spend too much time because I've covered this in the past. No one indicator, no one chart's going to be 100%. Pi cycle at some point's not going to work. Ask yourself this question. Do you really believe from now until the year 2050, just to illustrate my point, do you believe, DJ, that between now and the year 2050 that you're going to be able to use a pi cycle chart to identify Bitcoin tops? No. So while it has been a great predictor in the past, and I plan on using it myself and giving you my 5 indicators that I'm going to use for assessing when the market has potentially topped, and that most certainly will most likely be one of the 5. At some point, it's going to fail, right? So you can't rely on one chart or one price indicator. You really need it. You don't want to overcomplicate your life. You want to keep things stupid simple, but you should have maybe 3 to 5 things that you're looking at that kind of lead you to feel compelled that the market is likely topping or Bitcoin's likely topping. So food for thought, my friend. Yeah, Track, I'll definitely heavily consider it. Contrarian views always good. Thank you for that. April 12th, huh? For some reason, I thought the halving date was like more towards the end of April. So I'm going to fact check you. I thought for some reason, I'm sure you're right, but I'm going to fact check you anyway, DJ. April 12th, really? Bitcoin 2024 halving date. I'm showing April 24th, my friend. I don't know. I just quick Googled it. So I'm showing April 24th, which lines up with what I thought, the end of April. But whether it's April 24th or the 12th, it may change a bit by the time we get closer to that date. So, yep, Harmony One AI implementations. Still keeping track, obviously, as a huge supporter of the project. Dork Lord? Oof, what is Dork Lord? Okay. Are you being serious with me right now? I mean, there's some shit out there in crypto, but like, what is that? Dork. Wow. Dork Lord. Well, oof, we will chart it out. I mean, this is the first TA question. Hey, CBG, how long do cryptos go up for an average comparatively? How long has Casper been pretty much up ugly? How does that compare to most other cryptos? So what I would say, as long as I'm interpreting your question correctly, Greg, Black Oil as I prefer to say, this is something I hit on the last live stream. I think this is what you're getting at. Oh, Caspa. You didn't mean Casper. Caspa. A couple quick comments there. First off, typically when you start to get a parabolic rise in an asset, when it's sort of following that Elliott wave structure and you're riding one of those big waves up, the 1, the 3, or the 5, versus the 2 or 4, which are corrective waves, that period of time historically is very sharp and short, and then the corrections are very long in duration. What I would say about Caspa right now is it looks like what it's forming in the chart is a huge potential Elliott wave structure that has not completed yet, which is the first thing I would say. The other thing that's interesting about it, and that I do think about with that asset, never financial advice on this channel. Let me say that. And I didn't say that at all during the live stream, and I always say that. Some of these assets, you have to understand, like when you evaluate this chart, and this thing just keeps going up, it is true. This asset, there's no reason it has to continue going up, okay? Casper, excuse me, now you got me saying Casper. Caspa could roll over. There's no reason that Caspa couldn't roll over and go to a penny, right? There's no reason, okay? But if you look at some of these charts that have really gone super hyper parabolic, there's what I'm trying to say, like if you look at it in Ethereum or you look at a Polygon Matic or Cardano, because I know that what's his name has compared some fractals to Caspa. Jim. Some of these assets, it's really hard to look at a chart when you have these nice, basically what I'm trying to say, I'm trying to think about how to word this. When you have an asset that's increasing in value like this, and the chart is as beautiful as it is, there's no reason that it can't just continue going up, right? So I have no idea where this thing's going to top at. I've spoken. I have no idea, and no one else does, okay? This thing could go up to 10 cents and roll over 80%. This thing could go to 50%, 50 cents and roll over 70%, or it could just keep chugging to $1 plus and never look back. If you look at some of these charts, and again, this is where, and the reason I'm saying, some of the reason I'm saying this is because I told you, I feel very convicted on the project. It really, in my opinion, has extremely strong fundamentals. Extremely strong fundamentals. It's got a really good community. And the technicals are beautiful. And I think it has the potential to be one of these where, you know, we're looking at this thing 6 months from now and we're up here somewhere and we're looking down here like, Jesus Christ, this was a long time ago. Not to say that will happen though. I mean, this thing could roll over 80% tomorrow. But it's very hard to try to answer your question. I mean, it's very hard to know where these things are going to put in a sort of local top and begin some sort of a large correction. Don't lose sight, actually, back here in March, we did put in a pretty high top at over 4 cents and rolled over all the way down to a penny. So, I mean, we did correct roughly 80%. How far did we correct here? This must have been an 80% or more correction. Okay, so 72% correction. So that's nothing to laugh at. But this thing just has a beautiful trend. There's no reason that it can't just keep moving up. Any asset that in crypto, the stronger assets with the stronger charts, the ones that have really outperformed the markets, when you look back at their prior history of data, when they've just started out, okay, and there was no ICO for this thing. Keep that in mind. When they initially started out, I mean, you've really got to, you have to take auto scale out and just go back and look back to see how low price was because it was that low. So I'm just saying that's sort of the sense I get with this asset, that it has a strong potential to do that. But again, I could be absolutely dead wrong and this thing could fold tomorrow. As with any asset, it's just really hard. I did actually reach out to Jim. He was one of the people I reached out to, and he did respond to me, and he did say he would like to come on. It just didn't work for last month. So, and quite honestly, guys, these past couple weeks, and I think I have to be a realist, these next few weeks for me are going to be pretty, I'm going to be really busy with a lot. I have a lot of stuff going on, kind of on the, away from crypto, I have a lot of other stuff going on. So I don't know if I'm going to have the time to allocate to start bringing people on the channel in the next couple of weeks. Realistically, we might have to wait till November because I have a lot of stuff coming up. So, but anyway, let's get back here. I do want to chart Dork Lord. I'm your voice of reason, DJ. I don't know whether to be scared or impressed. All right. We are keeping the live streams going? Damn right we're keeping the live streams going. I'm not stopping my live stream. You're crazy. I'm going to have to take a little bit of time off next month, but I have no plans of stopping the live stream, my friend. I told you guys, this is how I envision the channel. I mean, I'm going to put out published videos as I want to put out published videos, but I do long term, at least my vision right now, long term is this being a live stream video. And when I actually do have more time, I would like to live stream a bit more. I would like to, I even told you guys, like, I wouldn't mind having some fundamental aspects to this channel. I don't know. I have a lot of different thoughts about the channel, but live stream's kind of the way I want to go. This is correct, right? This doesn't have a lot of price data. This is looking pretty rough. This is it. This is it. This is it, oof. Okay, not a lot of price data here. This is a small market cap. Let's take a look at what I see in the charts. I would show some descending resistance, like roughly like that. Yeah, not a lot of price data here, oof. There really isn't much to report on. This is on the daily. I don't really know how much I can honestly help you with this chart because there's just not a ton going on. Of course I can help you. I can only do as much as the, let me put it to you this way. I can always help you, but I can only do so much based on how much data is being presented to me, right? It's the same thing on the job. It's like if somebody handcuffs me and I can't use data. Fun fact, as a pricing actuary, it's crazy to see a lot of the things going on with the current social environment we're in because, you know, I'm trying to do my job. Every actuary is trying to do their job, and they're essentially I'm not going to digress here too much, but let's just call a spade a spade. With all this woke bullshit going on in the world, essentially, we can't, I'll use the term again, we can't call a spade a spade. People aren't males or females. Soon we're not going to know people's ages. Like, really just trying to handcuff us on data that, I don't want to get into it. It's just fucking ridiculous. Okay, this is an area of resistance here. Looks like I would have shown this as an area of resistance. Now we've kind of shot right past it today. Okay, so for right now, we're going to show an area of support. I could go to a lower time frame to get more price confluence, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to keep it on a daily. So these are the major, you can see we're in descending resistance. We have these two major areas of resistance at 0.7 and 1.5 cents. And then we got these areas of support. What do I really want to see from the chart? Oof, this is my relative expectation of what I want to see to be convinced we're actually going to turn around in price. Okay? Hold this as support. Okay? I want to bounce down. Right? I'm fine bouncing down. Hold this relative area. Come up here. Okay, we got the descending resistance to 0.7. Break it. Maybe we back test. And then break here. Come back to me if you're interested in charting this once we're above 1.5 cents. Then things will get interesting. When you start to see prices above 1.5 to 1.7 cents, that is when things are going to get interesting. So come back and ask the question. It's the other dork lord. Well, my friend, I don't know how many dork lords there are. Like, you said D-O-R-K-L. So that's what I charted, all right? I don't think there's any other dork lords. Does anybody... kind of a shit project is this? Does anybody else... Yeah, there's nothing else here, oof. I love you, buddy, but I don't know what you're talking about. This is what I charted. Dork lord. Like I said, I love you, brother, but this is... I don't know what other dork lord there is. Guys, do you have any other TA questions for me? Trying to think what else I really could cover. We're kind of running up against time anyway, honestly. Oh, one chart I did want to take a look at with you guys, okay? This is Sandbox and Mana. Couple things that I wanted to talk to here. In my opinion, never financial advice. In my opinion, okay? Let me word this in a way so it doesn't sound like financial advice, because it's not. It never is. We are consolidating at very low levels relative to where we were at. We are consolidating on mana right now before our huge run up in March of 2021, right? We're sort of at this area here where we initially had our pop up in early 2021, like right around February. On Sandbox, we're actually, we're below that. We're all the way back here. No, excuse me, we're not. Same sort of premise. We're all the way back here before our huge markup in March of 21. And when you actually look at the sand mana relativity chart, what it tells me, I believe actually Sandbox, as much as that's beautiful. I do live in South Florida. I have my window open because it's been a beautiful day out. Can't stand that shit. Older I get, like I just want to get the fuck out of South Florida and live somewhere a little bit more peaceful and quiet. Anyway, that shit annoys me. So, what was I saying? As much as I love Decentraland Mana, and I think it's a great metaverse play, and it's part of the Holy Crypto Trinity, as you can see behind me, Sandbox actually looks like, based on this relativity value, we're right down all the way here. Okay, this is sand divided by mana. If anything, at the very least, we'll press up against descending resistance, but ultimately I think we're going to go higher, which is what the chart is saying. Either way, whether you purchase Sandbox or mana, if someone were to buy mana, or if someone were to purchase Sandbox or mana at current price valuations, I think it's going to work out very well, because if you ask yourself the question, if things really do take off the way I'm expecting it, we really do get some sort of big altcoin season, do you really think, ask yourself a question, do you really think that the metaverse is not going to be a part of the narrative? I've always said this. Do you not think that people want to escape the realities of this world? I mean, come on, think about it. Player one. Like, do you really think that people don't want to escape the realities of this world? I believe very much that Mana and Sandbox are going to be huge plays moving forward. The metaverse is going to be a big pocket of wealth within crypto. Traditional stock, whatever not just crypto, if some player in the stock market wants to get into the metaverse, whatever. The whole point is the metaverse area in general is going to be, I think, a huge opportunity moving forward. Just like I think AI is going to be a huge opportunity moving forward. DEXs, decentralized exchange platforms, huge opportunity moving forward. Payment remittances, okay, huge opportunity moving forward. So gaming plays, all these things. I just think people have lost sight of the fact that, first off, not only is the chart beautiful, and this gets back to an earlier point, and I don't know if it was Greg that asked the question. You asked me how things, went. The trend is your friend, my friend. Look at this. If we were down here, if we were on the live stream, let's pretend we're on the live stream, and Sandbox is consolidating here at 3 cents. We had a huge run up, and you're like, oh my God, we're running up. We're at 12 cents. CBG, how far can this go? Well, the trend is your friend. This thing could go parabolic. It could roll over. Look what we did. I mean, we went from 3 cents all the way up to $8, okay? So when these things, that's what I'm saying, when these things go parabolic, I mean, it's anyone's educated guess where they could go. You can use different methodologies to determine likely price targets. You can look at fib extensions. You can look at market cap valuations. Market cap valuations would be a critical one, in my opinion, because a lot of times when you start to project out a lot of these fib extensions, it starts to get really crazy, like really crazy. These ones that ran really hard, like a Mana or Sandbox, fib extensions are ridiculous. They're ridiculous. So, even utilizing market cap valuations to try to hypothesize certain valuations and how high it could go is important as well. But yeah, I personally would not take the Sandbox Mana plays off your plate. And one last chart before we call it a day. This is the Uni-Link relativity chart. And right now, and I'll extend this, this is on a weekly. This weekly candlestick hasn't broken. Could we roll over right now? Yeah, of course we could roll over. Looks like it might. But historically speaking, We are literally bouncing at a historic low of Uni's USD value relative to Chainlink's USD value. This was one of the interesting, even though they're not related assets in terms of what they're going at, their USD values were relatively reasonably close to one another. And so one of the things I did back in 2021, this is when I started charting this chart, I started charting the price movements of Chainlink versus Uniswap because their USD values were sort of in tandem. And so based on this chart, I'm going to close this window. This is really starting to piss me off. Based on their relativity values, or based on their USD values, I allowed this chart to speak to me in terms of which was more under or overvalued, okay? And right now what this is telling me, if this line of support holds up, if it holds up, if it doesn't, we could continue to fall in value. But if this line holds at 0.54, which is expressing that Uni USD is roughly 50% of the value of Chainlink USD, and let's look at the price. Yeah, Uni's all the way down at 390, Chainlink's up at 730. To me, this chart says as long as this line holds, Uni is a better buy. Uniswap is a better buy than Chainlink at current price levels. It doesn't mean that I'm bearish on Chainlink or any of these assets. It just means that relatively speaking between both of them, again, as long as at the end of the week, this line at the 0.54 holds up, Uniswap is a much better buy relative to Chainlink. Now, if we close below here, now what could happen is we could continue to bleed. Maybe this could be resistance, right? So there's no reason this couldn't occur, right? That certainly could occur. But for now, I'd be watching this very closely if you're interested in either asset. If the 0.54 holds up by the end of the week on Uni divided by Link, okay, that relativity value, Uniswap is a much better buy in my opinion than ChainSwap. Or I'm confusing the names. ChainSwap and Unilink. Unilink and ChainSwap. No, then Uniswap will be a much better buy relative to Chainlink. All right, guys, that's all I got. You still lost me, oof. I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but love you anyway. All right, guys, I'll be back tomorrow on Wednesday. I'll be back Thursday, and I should be here Friday potentially. And I'm going to try to get that live stream going on Sunday before the Eagles. Make up for the fact that they lost against the Jets and beat the Dolphins at home on Sunday Night Football. Go Fightins! Game 2 of the NLCS tonight, which I'm going to be watching a little bit of. I have to get up really early tomorrow, so don't know how late I'm going to stay up. But all right, take care, everybody. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Let's all spread awareness and let's carry. Hey, click. Let's carry that education forward. Take care, everybody. Good to see you.